Anyways, today, man, we getting into this dating conversation. I feel like it's a conversation I've been having pretty frequently over the last year and a half or so. And it's definitely, I would say, about 2 to 3 years ago, was definitely like a very mainstream conversation. There's the Fresh and Fit podcast who, you know, that's pretty much still what they're doing. They're still kind of milking that content. But I do think I got some very practical advice for a lot of young men and young women. I seen this video come across my TikTok today that I think I wanted to kind of talk about. But anyways, let's get into it and I'll talk about it after.
Hi ladies. This is for like Minneapolis metro suburbs girls because I currently cannot find a man or just like a normal date to save my life. What is up with the men in Minneapolis? Why are they so entitled? One, they're not even that cute. Two, I don't want to settle. And if they're not attractive and their personalities fucking suck, they're not funny, I'm not doing it. Like, where are we finding good men? Like, serious. Where are we finding them? I don't want to go sit at Maynard's and have some weirdo walk up to me who is dressed in all Tommy Bahama. Like, that's just not my thing. But I also, like, I need to find out what you girls are doing because all the time when I'm in the North Loop, I see hot women walking with hot men. Like, where? Help me, please.
It's a lot of things there that, I'm kind of looking at and thinking about over the last year. I've kind of seen this similar conversation being had and definitely seen a lot of people, even young women in my family echoing the same kind of sentiments. And they've said the similar things about there not being any good guys. And I think that there's some truth in that. I think there is some truth that a lot of young men in particular, but a lot of young men, I say nowadays, definitely have dropped out in some ways of the dating pool. And I've heard that many a times. And I don't mean dropped out in the sense that like they made a conscious choice to necessarily do it. I think they dropped out almost by accident, I guess is maybe the better way to put it, because they weren't necessarily trying not to be dateable, but they just became not dateable because of the things that they chose to do with their time. Um, I definitely think that it's an issue for young dudes that never touch grass, never go outside. I think there's a lot. I've talked about this quite a bit. There's issues there for the young guys for sure, and they have these unrealistic expectations for women and blah blah blah. I think there's a lot of that that's going on there, but this girl, I think, kind of said it. She took her a minute to get there. She said, "Oh, I can't find a normal date, and I can't find like a guy to go out with me, whatever." It's like, cool, but when you really get to the like source of what she said, the meat of what she said, I can't find someone attractive enough. And a lot of girls and guys both do the same thing with this. They both are saying, "Oh, I can't find anyone. I can't find a date. I can't get into someone that's attractive enough." In reality, what they're saying is like the people that are approaching me, I don't think are my category. I think I can do better than that. The people that are coming up to you, whether if you think they're attractive or unattractive, is like, okay, sure. Sometimes if you're a girl, I know that there's dudes that are like way below where you're at, or if you're guys, girls that are way below where you are, and they'll try it. You know what I'm saying? But the ones who they kind of know roughly where they stand. The ones who are like at least like semi honest with themselves. Usually, that's the ones that are approaching you. That's just real. Like you think you're above the dudes that are approaching you? Probably not. That's just honest. Like you think the men that you are attracting are unattractive. I'm not saying you're unattractive, but I just think you need to be more realistic of where you are in your life. I think you need to be more realistic with where you are, maybe not in your life, but where you are on the scale. Because most of us are right in the middle, me included. We're all, the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? The curve. We all right around on the top. You know what I'm saying? And that little spot. Some of us are way over here, and some of us are way back here. And the thing is like it's good because in a lot of ways, like you don't want to be way back on the backside of it. You don't want to be there, obviously. And if you are, hey, it's still I guarantee there's still somebody out there for you. But on the other side of it, there's ups and downs to that too. And obviously those people can probably pick and choose, and they probably are picking the dudes that like you feel like you're entitled to, even though you're like probably in the middle. Probably in the middle when it comes to attractiveness, comes to like dateability. It's probably where you are. And the dudes who are approaching you are probably about there as well. Maybe there's some that are way lower on that scale. I would argue that it's rare for those guys to like step out and talk to a girl that's way above their pay grade. Usually they don't. Although nowadays I think things are a little bit different, and dudes think that like she did say entitled, and I do agree with her to a certain degree. Like I think these young dudes really do have like a distorted like reality of the situation. Like you ain't really, huh? Like I go back to my famous example. I shouldn't say famous, but it will be. But I go back to the example I made in prior videos about dudes who say Sydney Sweeney is mid, and it's like Tate McRae is mid. It's like don't get me wrong. I understand that maybe they're not like 1% of the 1% kind of thing. Like they're not like the most. Like there's like sometimes you squint and you look at them, you're like, she had her eyes are kind of weird, or some little stuff like that. You could nitpick if you really wanted to nitpick, but like on a scale of like, and I hate the 1 to 10 scale to a certain degree. I think it's a little bit, it lacks a lot of context, but we're gonna use it anyways. When you're on 1 to 10, like those girls are definitely on the like 8 and up probably side. Like even like I know some people say don't use 7, and I kind of understand why they say that, but like even just like 7 and up, they're at the very least. Like a lot of those girls that guys are like are mid. It's like, but in no world are those girls average attractiveness. Like it's just not a real thing. And so I do think they have a distorted sense of reality. And I don't know what it is. I know the low hanging fruit sometimes can be, I think people say social media, but I think these issues have been going on a lot longer than social media has been around, to be honest, or at least at the very beginning of social media. But if we're just being real, like we just bringing it back to this girl right here, I'm not saying anything is wrong with her. She's not an unattractive woman, young lady. I don't know how old she is. She's probably in her early 20s, mid 20s. She's not unattractive. She's not ugly. I don't even know. She might even be slightly above mid. Maybe. I don't know. I hate the mid thing anyways. I don't like to call women that. I don't like to call men that. But I'm just going to say average. She might be a little slightly above average. Maybe around that area of average. Is she being realistic with herself? Like, is she being honest with herself and who she is and where she is? Is she being honest with the dudes that's approaching her? Are they really that unattractive? Is the Tommy Bahama guy really that bad? Like, is he really like not it, like at all? Like it's not even close? Or are you shooting for like something that's out of your league? You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like people try to take shots that ain't in their arsenal. You know what I mean? Like some of us are Draymond, and we have a good shooting streak for a little bit, but in reality, we're like an average shooter. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe even a below average shooter sometimes. And maybe we'll have a little moment where we're like, swish. We hit a couple. We have a big game 3 in the finals, and we hit a couple threes, and everyone's like, okay, I see. But in reality, like you're more of like take it to the basket, hit a nice little layup. Maybe you hit a little mid range shot from every now and then. That's more the type of player you are. If you're not like the type of player where like it's easy for you to hit 3 balls all the time, or you can pull up from the logo like Damian Lillard. If that's not your game, that's okay. Like it's okay. Like there is phenomenal role players out there. There is like great role players that have made careers off of being just a really good fundamental basketball player. You know what I mean? They're just really good around the rim. They make the shots, the open shots. They take the open shots. They're good at free throws. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of dudes and a lot of girls clearly just be missing their free throws. Like they don't even try to get to the line. They didn't like the layup. They get a wide open layup and pass it. They kick it out. They kick it out and then go stand at the 3-point line. And then no one really throws them the ball because they know like you ain't really a shooter like that. You ain't really a shooter like you ain't really like that. So it's just be honest with yourself. Like, just be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ain't really a shooter like that, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? It's fine. Like, you ain't gotta be something you not. You know what I'm saying? Like, be who you are. If you ain't really a shooter, don't try and force yourself to be something you're not. Shoot, stay inside your lane, stay inside and play your game. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of y'all really think you should be able to do something you ain't worked for. And it's fine to like go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Go to the gym, work on your form, work on your shot. You know what I'm saying? Improve as a player. You know what I'm saying? And improve. It's all right to do that. You know what I'm saying? You can try and, you know what I'm saying? But this is the truth in the matter though, is like some players are capped. You are capped to a certain threshold. Like, you might be able to break beyond, you know what I'm saying, being a role player, but you might not be able to be a superstar. There's only so many Ant Edwards. There's only so many MJ, Shea Gilders, Alexander, what SGA. I'm not gonna say SGA. I don't know how to say his name. There's only so many of those out there, and everyone can't be that. If everyone could be that, then more people would be that. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't. That's just not how it is. Like, some of us are just capped genetically. Like, it just is what it is. Like, me personally, I was born with about a 10-inch vertical, and I worked on my vert. You know what I'm saying? And it's increased. It's increased. I might have like a, you know what I'm saying? I might have doubled it. I might even, you know what I'm saying? Even a little double and a half. You know what I'm saying? It might be 25. You know what I'm saying? It's vertical now, man. But at the end of the day, I ain't gonna never be, you know what I'm saying, cocking it back from the free throw line, throwing it down. I'm not gonna be that guy. And that's okay with me personally. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm honest with myself. I know where I stand in the world. I understand that I get the ball where I'm supposed to get the ball at. You know what I'm saying? My teammates set me up in the right position so that I could hit the shots that I'm supposed to hit. Sometimes they help me make the play. You know, sometimes I made a play for myself. I can make a play for myself from time to time. You know, I can do that. But listen, be real with yourself, man. Be real with yourself. Like, be honest. Shoot the shots that's in your arsenal. Take the shots that's in your arsenal. It's okay. It's okay. You don't gotta be something you're not. You know what I mean? Like, you don't gotta be that. You could be this. And you can be a great this. And have a good life. You know what I'm saying? You could team up with a wonderful duo. You can have a great duo. Y'all can go hoop together. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got great chemistry and y'all about the same. You know what I'm saying? Y'all about the same skill level. Y'all play well together though. You know what I'm saying? Y'all play well together. You know, people see y'all out. You start to become, you know, a staple in the community. People like y'all together. They see you guys together. They can envision it. They can envision it. You know, when she said, you know, everywhere I go, I see hot man with hot woman. It's like, ha ha ha. You said it right there. And I'm not saying, like I said, I ain't going after her looks because she's not unattractive. That ain't what I'm here for. I'm not here to do that. At the same time, you gotta understand, like, the best couples, the couples that really stick with each other, the couples that are the most happy are the ones that are around the same. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones who, you know what I'm saying, they're close. They not, there's no giant gap between one or the other. And it don't even gotta be a giant gap. It's just too much. Just anywhere, you know what I'm saying? One, you know what I'm saying? Just if this player over here low key kind of an all-star and you just you know what I'm saying, like you on the bench or or he's an all-star and you just a really solid role player, you gotta be chill. You gotta, you know what I'm saying, play your role and work with what's inside your means, you know what I'm saying? Work with what's inside your bounds. I mean, that's just real, man. Y'all can't be out here thinking that you gonna come off the bench, pull up from the logo, and the coach ain't gonna take you out. Coach pulling you. Soon as you do some dumb, you do something stupid like that, he might just pull you out the game. And that's real. That's real. You're gonna have to go sit down and think about what you just did. So I think a lot of times, man, I think this dating thing is a lot more difficult. I think people make it more difficult than what it actually is. I think they overthink a lot of it, man. It's really kind of simple if you really get down to it. A lot of times, man, I think we see all these relationships on Instagram and TikTok, and they look so picture perfect, and understand, like, that's probably not real. And even if it's real and they really they do actually like each other, understand there's a reason why those kind of people stick together. You know what I'm saying? Like Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. You know what I mean? It makes sense. It makes sense. And that's okay. Like, you just gotta I think you just gotta accept yourself. Like, you can just be happier in life if you just accept yourself and accept where you are, and, you know, try to improve. Absolutely. Keep improving. I mean, with what you feel like you need to improve in, but don't stress yourself out. Don't stress yourself out. Don't turn down great opportunities. Don't turn down great shots to take a worse shot that really is lower percentage for you. Like, you gonna pass up a layup to go try and pull up from the logo, and it's like unnecessary. You ain't really need to do that. You didn't really need to do that in the first place. You could have just stuck to your game, took the shots that come to you, and that's what it is. Yeah, I think that's really kind of where matter of fact, something that somebody told me that was the best piece of advice I ever got in dating, man. It was the best piece of advice I ever got. And it's always stuck with me. It's always stuck with me. I never have forgotten it. I've told a few people about it, but one of the things that I heard when I was younger was, I like who likes me. And he wasn't even really giving me the advice. I just heard him saying that, like, about himself. That's just how he handles this situation. He don't go outside of that too much. And it's like, and as a young man, like, it hit me. I'm like, dang. I started like reminiscing on all the times like that I would do the opposite of that. When I was thinking back, I'm like, damn, I remember like 8th grade, 6th grade, like there was girls. I mean, there was girls in my middle school that just worshiped me. Like it like literally the ground I walked on was holy to them. Like there was nothing I could do wrong, bro. Like literally just in love, bro. And I may be, you know, I might be exaggerating a little bit, but like I bet if I look back, if we went and asked them and interviewed them, they would, even some of them to this day probably still feel the same way. I guarantee like those girls would have literally like, they would have did anything I asked. And I don't mean I don't mean that in a negative way. Like I would have asked for like something crazy, but they would have just, if I needed something, they would have been there. If I really was like, if I was gonna like date one of them, they would have never have like stepped out. Like if I was hungry and I didn't have no money for lunch, they probably would have gave me some of their lunch. Like real like genuinely good people, good females that like really liked me. But maybe some of them I felt like were out of my league, or no, I'm sorry, weren't in my league. I felt like I was stooping down too low. Some I honestly thought were, one in particular I thought, actually there's a couple of them actually I thought was attractive. I thought they were cute. But my friends did it. My friends thought, you know, oh, that's she kind of and like I let that sway my opinion. You know, I had a couple of different girls. One girl I actually even like kind of like, this was like 6th grade, so whatever. But it's just a good example of what I'm talking about. It was one girl in particular who I even kind of dated for a minute there, and like just like literally like a few days type of thing. But I just always felt like none of my friends looked at her like she was cute, but I thought she was. I thought she wasn't that bad. It was, and she liked me. She even like she had her friends tell me about that she liked me, and it was like, dang, okay, it was cool. It was cool. It was like, I'm starting to figure it out a little bit. I'm starting, you still. I feel like 6th, 7th, 8th grade. That's kind of when you're like, you ain't becoming a man, but you're like that pre-teen teenager era where you're starting to kind of like, I got a little, you're getting a little, first hair on ball kind of situation, and you starting to like, oh, you notice girls a little bit more. Like 4th, 5th grade, yeah, I did a little bit. I thought I had crushes or whatever, but it wasn't the same as like your hormones are starting to crank up a little bit in middle school though, and so. Yeah, I was happy about it. I was happy that this girl thought I was cute, and I thought she was okay, and like it was like we kind of vibed and got along, and she was like pretty chill. But I didn't think that like really overall, I thought I could do better. And there was another girl who just so happened to be her friend, by the way. I was kind of a little, whatever. And I thought she was the more attractive one, so I went after that. And she didn't really like me like that. She would just play games, and she would, she had boys that was older in like high school that she liked, and she wasn't really into me like that. You know what I'm saying? I was like chasing it around like a little puppy dog and trying to be into it. It's like reality. Why didn't just rock with the girl who was already rocking with me? You know what I'm saying? I should have rocked with the girl who's rocking with me, and I'd have been good. She would have been straight. But I personally didn't. I didn't want to do that. I thought I was above that. So it's just one of those examples to show you like, man, you can just like, why though? Why make your life harder? Why make your life harder? You don't gotta make it harder. You could just chill and just do you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't gotta do all that. All that extraness is what ends up making you stressed out, make your life harder. You don't even really need to be doing all that. And I just feel like a lot of young dudes, a lot of young women do that all the time. They do this to themselves, and it ain't worth it, man. It ain't worth it. Just go get you a the people that's approaching you, and it's the thing too. This kills me because like most girls, I guarantee 90% of girls I know, and I watch this play out so many times. Like they'll have a dude that's in their friends list, or like, or just in their friend group, I should say, or a coworker, or a dude that they just know somehow, some kind of acquaintance, and they know that dude is in it. Like he literally would trip over himself and fall down a flight of stairs just to save you from, I don't even know what, falling on that. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of dudes that they'll have in their back pocket. And there'll be another dude who's like a frat boy, low key alcoholic, like Zens all day, and fucking he's fucking FanDuel, like fucking addiction, and they're just like, but I will say, to be fair, some of those dudes are the dudes I get why they want to be with those dudes, because some of those dudes are the ones that maybe take care of themselves a little bit better. They're probably in the gym a little bit more, and so I understand that, and I do get that is appealing, and so I understand like there is partially that's where some of the other guys need to really step it up at, but at the same time though, like that dude got a roster longer than my arm, and my arm's just lengthy. Do you really want to sit around and wait for that dude? Like, you really want to sit around and wait for the low key alcoholic frat boy? Like, is that really worth it? Like, is that worth like losing sleep over? I don't think so personally, but that's up to them, I guess. I don't really know. It's up to the women that are out there in this dating market, like this girl, this Minnesota girl. It's like, how long you just gonna pass up on all the like decent dudes that are in your age range that are approaching you until you're 35, and then you still gonna probably have to settle down for some dude that's you still feel ain't worthy. So I don't know. Maybe make that decision a little bit sooner. Don't drag it out. Don't drag it out until you're 40. You know what I mean? Like, figure it out now, because it's only gonna get harder, and the group only gets smaller. What up, YouTube? I appreciate y'all coming through. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please like, subscribe, and also come over to check me out. TikTok, Twitch, it's below in the description. Come give me a follow. If you want to come hang out with the boy live, we vibe and have a good time, play some games, do some reaction stuff. So I appreciate y'all.